Yeah, check. Welcome to my Compound Life. I am Jonathan. This is a channel where we build assets, we build habits, and of course, we build freedom. That will be financial freedom, time freedom for you, me, and anyone else that watches my video. Good morning, guys. I haven't fully checked everything on the news today yet. So yeah, we'll be compiling my Bitcoin daily video shortly. But I think one thing that caught my earlier attention was gold and silver sell off. FYI, it hasn't dropped tremendously, so if you're gold and silver holder, I think don't worry. It could just be it could easily just be gold and silver taking a breather before going another all-time high. Or could this be the reversal that all of us Bitcoiners, Bitcoin maxis, Bitcoin and crypto holders are waiting for? I'm kind of reading this from the aspect of the fact that gold and silver has run for such a decent amount of time, right? So gold all-time high, I think close to 5,100, silver at 110, right? And then there've been increasing market cap here and there. And with recent, just a couple of hours ago, I think they only combined lost about $1.4 trillion. I mean, $1.4 trillion is pretty big. So that news specifically caught my attention. I'm just constantly on my mind now would be, does this mark the reversal, right? Does this mark the blow off top for gold and silver? Is the banana zone for gold and silver now, finally finished? And it's time to, rotate into Bitcoin and crypto. So I'm kind of looking at the whole macro situation, the whole reason that Bitcoin suffer more drops, or gold and silver continue to gain momentum over the weekend. It was largely due to the Japanese bond yield resulting in the in the carry trade unwind, and it seemed to me there will be intervention from the U.S. government, or there could have been some intervention that resulted the stabilization of the Japanese carry trade unwind. And immediately on a Sunday afternoon, when I look at that, look at the sharp drop of Bitcoin, initially I was thinking, you know what, it was around 2 or 3 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, and usually market makers just does a lot of selling and buying on weekdays during that period too. So initially I was thinking, oh, maybe it's just the market makers deciding to sell off, to wipe out the longs, leverage longs, right? However, it could also mean that was the time when the Asia futures market opened, and traders they nowadays leverage a lot on algorithmic approach of trading, where maybe a lot of it could come down to, the news headline. So that's why immediately there has been some huge sell-off due to algorithmic, approach of trading. And I think that could be plausible because ultimately everything are essentially tied in with the flow of liquidity, right? And more important to highlight is the fact that all this while, especially on social media, a lot of the coverage, a lot of the saying, it's all due to Trump's tariffs, one after another, right? So due to Trump's tariffs, like the one with Greenland, leading onto Trump imposing tariffs onto Europe, which obviously now has been settled, right? So the tariffs issue initially wasn't an issue at all, because I think it was also priced in by investors and traders that these tariffs is just a negotiation tactic and it wouldn't be at all possible to move on for a long period of time. And obviously we all know the fact that Europe, United Kingdom, that essentially no negotiation power with the current government. And in that case, I think these are already priced in, and these aren't the real factors, the true factors that are affecting the Bitcoin dips. But at the same time, there were some tariffs Trump maybe is suggesting for Canada, because Canada might have some sort of a deal with China. And immediately Canada, they came out and said, no, we're not going to strike any deals with China, So everyone's are afraid of Trump and the US, and tariffs seems to work for the US. So in that case, the only things that's really having a knock-on effect on the Bitcoin price is this Japanese carry trade. I've covered this like about a month ago, when it first was known, right? And then I've warned you guys that this carry trade the effect of the carry trade will not go away immediately. It's not like a 1 week or 2 weeks things, right? It will cascade. The knock-on effect, there will be more implosion for many investors, traders, companies that have that have such a huge tied in with this sort of borrowing, right? And I think it's definitely happening right now. So this is the thing, because I'm just thinking, this is not something, even if the US comes out and say, hey, we're gonna come in, we're gonna apply some, I don't know, do you call it easing, or apply some apply some easing, because ultimately US, what they're gonna do, they're gonna print, they're gonna borrow, they're gonna buy more Japanese yen in hopes that maybe they won't, Japan won't be selling off the US bonds. But then again, they're pissing off the Chinese too, right? So what if China starts selling US bonds? But anyway, I think we'll be seeing more knock-on effect. Despite the fact that gold and silver are going down, I just think gold and silver are taking a breather as opposed to a reversal for gold and silver onto, you know, more, I don't know how to say it, more risk on asset. Because usually what happened is, right, usually in the past, it's all down to when US dollars are being chucked into the system, essentially, you know, US dollars will be debased, US dollar buying power will be reduced, and that's when people all around will not want to keep more of the US dollars, right? And that's when risk on take place. Risk on essentially means buying more riskier asset that would gives higher return, right? And that will result in equity, especially growth type of asset, you know, immediately grow higher, and this would also be like the best time to hold on to asset, guys, right? To buy more assets, hold on to your asset, and not to panic sell. FYI. But of course, do your own research. It's not financial advice. At least for me, I'm holding strong onto my equity, stocks and shares, holding strong to Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, I made a video yesterday that talks about, hey, I can't hold it anymore, I'm selling, especially I'm selling off my Ethereum. I haven't fully sold off all my Ethereum, but recently I've started to sell some. So the way I sell, you know what, I still think somehow the market, it's not fully dead yet, right? So that's why I'm kind of applying pound cost average or dollar cost averaging out. Okay, not financial advice, do your own research, you know, because I did have some gain for Ethereum already. You know, I've been holding that for multiple Bitcoin cycles already. Must have been like, yeah, must be the third cycle now that I'm still holding Ethereum. So for me, I'm in good profit. So that's why for me, it's more of de-risking, and for me to sell off, to buy more Bitcoin, to save money, to be in liquid so that I can buy in Bitcoin when it gets back to the low again, right? So that's the whole purpose of it. So yeah, I think gold, silver, it dropped a little bit. Wiped out about $1.4 trillion in just a matter of 4 hours. I don't personally see it as a reversal yet, because there are still too much uncertainties out there, right? You know, everyone are very, very excited about the Clarity Act, Clarity Bill. I think there will be some directional input sometime today, but I mean, it used to be such a big thing, right? Until Brian Armstrong that came out and say, no, having no bill is better than having a crappy one, a shitty one, or a mediocre one, right? That doesn't favor the investors, right? So essentially is, FYI, I think a lot, just when the bill were to, you know, to get onto the broader discussion, I think the banks or the big banks, the TradFi, they all came in and amended the bill in such a way that, you know, it doesn't favor the development. In a way, if the bill does get passed, crypto investors, crypto exchanges, people working on blockchains or on you know, the the finance, the tech side of finance, will continue to be suppressed, right? Because the traditional finance, the big banks, they don't like Bitcoin and crypto, right? For obvious reason, right? So in that case, indeed, having no bill is better than having a crappy bill, a mediocre one. So I think, no offense to Brian Armstrong, which by the way was Brian Armstrong's birthday yesterday. So you guys please be polite to him and greet him happy belated birthday. So having said that, I think it used to be such a big deal for us as Bitcoiners or Bitcoin holders. So I'm not truly a Bitcoiner because I obviously hold other assets too, right? But anyway, for Bitcoin holders, what we really care about would be the clarity bill, how much it will move the Bitcoin price as well as the crypto price, right? But this now has been like no news anymore, right? I think the whole expectation will be there won't be anything that Trump can sign until much later in the year, and whatever that comes out from it probably would be a slight improvement of mediocrity. What's a slight improvement of mediocrity? Maybe just leave me a comment down below and let me know. That, you know what, if any of you guys are expecting this to have any effect on Bitcoin price, I simply felt it's impossible, totally impossible. So don't have too much expectation on this clarity bill. Which, by the way, I think if it get passed, and if it permits, for the stable coin to receive yield, right? Because I think a lot of pushback from a big bank was they don't want crypto to offer yield. Because you know what, on crypto exchanges nowadays, if you put in stablecoin, you get to have some yield, and some of them gives pretty decent yield, like 3%, 4%, 5%, right? And look at how much your bank are paying you for leaving money in your saving account, right? Maybe 1%, 1.25%, 1.5%, right? So different to hold real fiat currency in a bank as opposed to holding stablecoin, which essentially is the same, that has one-to-one backing. That has one-to-one backing, right? So, if this clarity bill gets passed, and essentially that means there'll be more holders of stablecoin, and there's no point of putting fiat currency in the traditional banks, because there's simply, the return, the interest rate that they're giving me are just simply terrible, right? So there are more incentives. So that's why it's such a big deal for everyone in the Bitcoin and crypto sphere community, right? So it will be a big deal, but until we kind of finalize what the hell the deal, what's exactly will be signed off, I don't have too much hope. So yeah, in conclusion, I just felt gold and silver, I think they're just taking a breather right now. It's always normal for gold and silver to retrace, drop a little bit, retrace before heading upwards, more upwards again. And why do I think that there will be more upwards trajectory for gold and silver? I think a lot to do with government shutdown, guys. I think on the 30th of Jan, we will truly know whether there will be a government shutdown. So that would be in a few days' time, right? And you guys, you knew how the past government shutdown did for Bitcoin, right? So, okay, guys, just stay calm, okay? And by the way, I don't think there will be a rate cut coming for this coming FOMC meeting. I think by tomorrow, the 28th, we will know whether there will be a rate cut, but poly markets already priced that in. I think the prediction is there will not be a rate cut at all. Okay, so no catalyst, more turmoil. I think the whole purpose of this video is, guys, if you guys do have cash, right, I think there could be another buy the dip opportunity. Yeah, there's a viewer actually left a message earlier saying that, hey, he needs to control his FOMO. You know, he was expecting, I mean, he was expecting Bitcoin to go up again. Unfortunately, he made his purchase at around 89,000, and then somehow over the weekend Bitcoin continued to dip to about 87,000. I mean, it's not exactly such a bad trade, come on, right? But just want to remind all of you guys that, you know what, just keep calm sometime. Don't FOMO in, big lump sum in, because you think that's the bottom. Because for Bitcoin and crypto, well, let's talk about Bitcoin for now, just Bitcoin. At least for Bitcoin, there will never be a true bottom, right? Because there are so much uncertainty out there, and you know, Bitcoin being traded 24/7, it's such a huge global asset traded by literally anyone, right? So sometime what I would do, I would essentially just wait until, so sometime for me to buy, right? I wouldn't buy immediately, but I would wait until things are more settled. So rather than trading just based on headlines, you know, there's no point trading on headline because there are too much risk. What the fuck is this car doing? So sometime how I would do it, essentially, I'll just wait a little bit, and because usually Asia opens, sometimes they move the market, sometimes it dips, but usually the true dips usually come when the US market open, right? So European market, when they open, it's not gonna make any difference for Bitcoin. Yeah, the Europeans, if Asia sell, they just sell a little bit because they're not a huge holders anyway, right? And then for the rest, I think, yeah, usually just wait for the US open. Anyway, yeah, just keeping you guys calm. I think there will be more turmoil coming, especially with the US government shutdown. So just have cash ready, guys. I think, you know, this is another buying opportunity. and more importantly, don't panic sell. Okay, so do not panic sell, guys. Do not panic sell, as this essentially is the buying opportunity, and the Japan carry trade unwind will eventually finish, and it does seem the US are stepping in to buy more Japanese yen, and that will devalue the US dollar more. But these are all good for asset prices. Okay, so bear that in mind, guys. Yeah, I think that's what I want to chat about, and look out for my daily Bitcoin daily video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.